There's a side of self-improvement that never makes it into the books, the speeches, the success stories. The part that's uncomfortable, the part that's ugly, the part no one wants to admit. No one talks about how self-growth can become a prison, how the endless pursuit of a better version of yourself can leave you feeling like you're never enough. We tell ourselves we are working on ourselves, but no one asks if maybe we're just running from ourselves, if maybe our obsession with fixing every flaw is just another way of avoiding the deeper wounds we don't want to face. No one talks about how self-discipline can turn into self-punishment, how the more we push ourselves to be better, the more we start to resent ourselves for not already being enough. We think we need to wake up earlier, work harder, optimize every minute. But why do we never ask if we're just turning ourselves into machines, stripping away the very joy and spontaneity that make life worth living? We chase routines, habits, productivity hacks. But what happens when structure becomes a cage? What happens when self-improvement stops being about growth and starts being about control? No one talks about how healing isn't just painful, it's exhausting. Once you start uncovering your own patterns, your own limiting beliefs, your own wounds, you can't go back to ignorance. You start seeing the ways you've been sabotaging yourself, the ways your past shaped you, the ways your fears control you. But no one tells you that knowing all of this doesn't mean you suddenly know what to do about it. No one tells you that self-awareness without action can be just as painful as living in denial. We hear that we should cut off toxic people, but no one talks about how easy it is to become the toxic one to ourselves. We push ourselves past burnout, criticize ourselves for not being disciplined enough, compare our progress to others, chase an endless cycle of improvement that never lets us rest. We tell ourselves we're evolving, but sometimes self-improvement is just another form of self-rejection, another way to say, I am not good enough as I am. No one talks about how sometimes growth feels like losing yourself, like not recognizing the person you used to be, like drifting away from people who once felt like home. No one tells you that self-improvement can be lonely, not because people don't support you, but because the more you change, the harder it is to relate to those who don't. And what do you do when you wake up one day and realize you've outgrown the life you once wanted? What do you do when the old dreams don't fit anymore, but you're not sure what comes next? No one talks about how success doesn't guarantee happiness, how sometimes achieving everything you wanted just leaves you feeling empty. We hear about people who made millions, who reached their dreams, who built the perfect life, but no one tells you about the ones who got everything they wanted and still felt lost. No one tells you that sometimes the real problem isn't what you haven't achieved. It's the belief that you need to achieve something to feel whole in the first place. Maybe the biggest truth no one talks about is this: self-improvement isn't about fixing yourself, it's about learning to live with yourself. It's not about becoming someone new, it's about remembering who you were before the world convinced you that you needed to be more. It's not about doing more, achieving more, becoming more. It's about realizing that who you are right now, in this moment, is already enough.